O'Brolly said, now we're sucking diesel.
Well, this is more like it. And, you know, Mayo have been absolutely emphatic. Kieran Kilkenny's been taken out of it. Cluxton has been forced to kick long, and the kick out has disintegrated with the way Mayo are playing zonally out there. The diagonal ball's working very well into the Mayo forwards. Andy Moran scored 3 points, but in general, it's so full-blooded by Mayo. The tackling, the number of great interceptions, and in general, Mayo have been the better team, and they've got the bit between their teeth here.
And obviously, we can't overanalyze a column with only a point in it. And I mentioned something before the match, way back in the programme, the date of the replay.
Yes, it's looking like that again, and I suppose after a minute of play we thought, here we go again with Mayo giving away a goal. But they've played, I think, with a controlled ferocity for most of that first half and been much the better team as far as I'm concerned. The worry for them is they're only 1 point behind, but Dublin don't look up to match speed. Maybe all those easy games haven't been good for them, and Mayo are playing with a calmness in their approach, and in many ways they've stole Dublin's close. They're keeping the game wide. They've forced Cluxton into kick-outs. Joe was saying Kieran Kilkenny is not an issue in the game, Brian Fenton. So what they have done is nullified all the main players on the Dublin team and have been very good going forward. Like, they scored brilliant points from play. Jason Doherty and Andy Moore, great again. And we asked the question, can they just keep up this relentless pace?
Yeah, that's what they have to do now, Pat. I mean, they lead by centres of margins, but the question is, can they drive on?
And they've been in this position before.
Correct.
Winning.
Yes.
You know. Now, bear in mind, the last time that Dublin got beaten this year was in the league final. And Kerry gave a template that day how Dublin can be beaten. And Mayo have just carried on with the same template.
Yeah.
Mayo today, like Kerry in the league final, Mayo are playing the game on their terms. They're asking questions of the Dubs. They're running at the Dubs. They're hammering the hammer. Cluxton's kick out. He's missed 6 kick-outs went astray in the first half.
And only took 7 long ones.
Yeah. So Cluxton's kick out. Working the sweeper, Cian O'Sullivan. Cian O'Sullivan is not the same influence today. And the big thing, who's the conductor, who's the point guard of that forward line? Kieran Kilkenny, Lee Keegan nullifying. All the best football, all was played by Mayo in that half. When you look at some of the stats, Dublin forwards scoring 1 point from play in the first half. 1 point from play in the first half. I mean, that's...
But also, picking up on your point, Pat, about how, you know, full-blooded Mayo have been, you can see the difference in that with Dublin's very slow build-up. Mayo are going 100 miles an hour. Of course, Dublin are on their back foot largely because of the kickouts, but there's no doubt a difference in attitude.
But I would agree.
It's time for us to take another short break here on the programme. Now, straight after that, it is the All-Ireland football final. Mayo leading Dublin by 9 points to 1 goal and 5 points. By the way, the most impressive thing, or one of the most impressive things for me in Croke Park here today, is Joe Brolly's cufflinks. Show them the cufflinks, Joe. Because I just want to mention, I gave a pair of cufflinks to Joe a couple of weeks ago. I haven't seen them since.
Never got them back.
But those are the cufflinks of the former vice president of the United States.
Joe Biden, but the reason that I got them was because...
Get rid of you?
He turned the sod on the first ever Mayo hospice last Tuesday, which was a magnificent day for us, and Joe has been kick-starting the fundraising for the hospice, which is badly needed, and also for one in Roscommon. So, I mean, I was so delighted. They just said, I want you to have these.
Joe, seeing that you lost my cufflinks, would you ask them for another pair while you're at it there? Listen, we've been talking positively about Mayo, Colin, but they did start off this match in the worst possible way.
Yeah. And, you know, Dublin, it seems from Mayo that they're not going to die wondering anymore, but Con O'Callaghan, the young Turk, he just waltzes through Colin Boyle left in his way. Now, he does take quite a few steps, but again, it shows like the class of this man. He's the young footballer of the year, maybe he's the overall footballer of the year. Takes on the Dublin defence because Dublin weren't doing this. They have been very ponderous in their build-up, and he side-foots it away. Colin Boyle not able to get back near him, falls and side-foots it into the corner. And it was about the only time he went at the defence. John Small has come up and gone at the defence, but we haven't seen anything of it. We haven't seen this Dublin pace coming from deep at all.
Owen O'Gara's not working.
But you're right when you talk about the pace, because once Jack McCaffrey went off, that X factor that he brought to Dublin this year, that huge pace between transition between defence and attack is now gone. Paul Flynn hasn't stuck it up well at midfield yet, and Owen O'Gara has been a major disappointment.
You spoke about Stephen Cluxton's kickouts, and this has been an important factor in the first half.
Mayo went after Kerry's kickouts, and they've been brilliant at doing this in the latter half of this championship. They've completely annihilated his kickout. He took 7 long kickouts, Mayo won 6. And what's their positioning? Cross McGlean used to do this under Joe Kernan. They would play a zonal. Look, along there on either side of the midfielder, forcing him in. And they've won so many of these, and in fairness, there's not a Mayo player who's shirking his duties today. 6 out of 7, and most of these, 4 of these were returned for scores. The net effect is that Dublin are being hemmed in and Mayo are coming at them in waves. Because, of course, the nightmare against this Mayo team is to allow their half-back line to attack you, which is precisely what is happening.
But what Mayo have done is that they've got into Dublin, you know, they've got under Dublin's skins, they've got at them physically, and you know, you can see Dublin are a little bit they're a bit unsettled, and I agree with Colm at the start. I think the fact that they got no test up to this championship, and I think...
Colm, this man is on the pitch, and Kevin McMenamin is also on for Owen O'Gara.
I'm not surprised. There was a mistake put
He's on, by the way, for Paddy Andrews.
I'm surprised that O'Gara started. This is a game made for Connolly. He'll have something to prove. But the Dublin subs have to come on to win the game for Dublin this time. Normally they're coming on as a mopping up operation and looking good. They have to really play this time.
It's the first time, Michael, it's the first time since Donegal in 2014 at half-time where a Dublin team has been rattled. Now, they haven't been rattled to that extent, but there is no doubt that they are rattled here.
No, they were rattled last year in the semi-final against Kerry. And Kerry, do you remember, had a purple spell before half-time. Dublin came out reorganised in the second half. But like I said, Mayo are really up for it. You can't beat their resilience. You can't beat... They played all the football in that half.
They have no subs, Pat. They have no subs.
9 points from play.
Yeah, Colm, in the semi-final we saw Jim Connolly coming on a showboat appearance at the end of the match simply because the game was over at that stage. This is significant.
It is, because the only thing about it is lacking serious match practice. Now, we all hear about the ferocity of the Dublin A versus B games and things like that, but this is a different thing. To come on an All-Ireland final and Dublin under pressure, they're lacking that composure that we normally see with them. The calmness on the field is best exemplified by Mayo. So Dublin are now turning to Connolly in their hour of need.
But they have
we
been
saw Bernard Brogan, by the way, sitting on the bench there as well.
They have been under the cosh many times, Dublin, and always they have eked out the victory. Always they have eked out the victory. So I said it at the start, Mayo, with this 15 who are on the pitch now, they're going to have to play the 40 minutes of their lives now in this second half to win it.
All right, lads, if you want to hear more from the panel after our coverage today, you can join them and Claire McNamara on our Facebook page, so do watch out for that. Right now, it is time for us to head back to Ger Canning and Desi Dolan.
Thanks, Michael. No changes from Mayo, but Dublin have sent for the reinforcements. And as you've been hearing, they've sent for the reinforcements probably earlier than they anticipated. And when you look down through Jim Gavin's subs list now at this stage, you're seeing Bernard Brogan, maybe Michael Dara-McCauley, who's played very little football for them this year. Not an awful lot else where forwards are concerned. This is it for Dublin. This is it for Mayo. Second half about to get underway. Dublin trying to restore their supremacy. Mayo trying to reaffirm their status as champions in the making. 35 minutes to go, and maybe a little more, the way football goes nowadays. And that's grabbed by James McCarthy straight away, and is stripped. Now that could be very, very serious. The referee allows play continue. All the way up as far as Paul Mannion. And Mannion gets the second half underway in whirlwind fashion by knocking it over the bar almost nonchalantly. And once again, the teams here are level.
Yeah, great score by Paul Mannion, and that instance, great play by James McCarthy. Won the throw, kicked it in quickly, but I suppose Aidan O'Shea protests that it was an innocent exchange.
Well, he got away with it. That's the main thing from a Mayo point of view, but in the past, well, we know what would happen. Black card stuff. Paddy Durkin. Back as far as Chris Barrett. Down here to Colm Boyle. Back to Keith Higgins. Durkin once again raiding, trying to cut past Fenton, succeeds in that. Now will he kick it himself? Turns it back here to Aidan O'Shea. Back outside, there were 2 players waiting for it. Jason Doherty takes on the responsibility. I'm not sure he was anticipating getting the pass. He's missed it anyway.
Yeah, but that was a great opportunity for Mayo, and they have missed a couple of opportunities that you would expect them to score in the last couple of minutes.
And that kick out again is attacked there, this time by Donny Vaughan, getting there first. Michael Fitzsimons. Kilkenny getting the ball forward as far as Paul Flynn, who was the first of the subs to come on for the injured Jack McCaffrey. First touch for Diarmuid Connolly. Can he be the major influence that Dublin are looking for? Played so little football since that Carlow match. John Small all the way in, Won immediately by Mayo. They control it. Higgins, simple little pass out to Shamie O'Shea, given off to his brother, then to Cillian O'Connor, who's played very deep in the early moments of the second half. O'Shea once again to Tom Parsons this time. Challenged by Connolly. Off goes Aidan O'Shea once again. Flynn, his nearest marker, opting against kicking it, lobbing it instead inside here for Doherty. 3 against him, lays it back outside. Difficult one for Andy Moran to get to. James McCarthy, and the referee has blown the whistle, and it's got to be a free in.
Yeah, there was a slight tug of a jersey there, but Mayo will be delighted to get that. There wasn't a whole pile of contact, but you can see he gets the ball here, picks it up, and there's a very slight stretch of the jersey. Joe McQuillan gave him the free on that.
Just one free kick in the first half for Mayo in a scoreable position, and Cillian O'Connor missed that one. Well, this one is a great deal easier, you'd imagine, just outside the 13-metre line. Attention being given to Jason Doherty there by the... Kicks it over, no problems, one they needed.
Yeah, and that's the first score that Mayo have got from a free today. They've 9 points before that. That's the first free.
And Mayo back into the lead again. Short one as far as Johnny Cooper. Coming to take it and move the ball forward, James McCarthy. Con O'Callaghan made such an explosive start to this match. In case you joined us late, he scored the only goal after just under 90 seconds. Philly McMahon back once again to O'Callaghan, just holding up the point of the attack, waiting for Cian O'Sullivan to come forward. Down into space towards Mannion. Good quick layoff, brilliantly done. Dean Rock getting past Barrett, kicking and making sure. Lovely start to the second half for Dean Rock. A 4th point for him. And once again, these teams are level in the All-Ireland final.
Yeah, but Dublin looked to be a little bit more fluid in the second half, in the first couple of minutes, getting the ball in. Paul Mannion out in front, and a good score by Dean.
Tom Parsons rolling it back here towards Keith Higgins. Shamie O'Shea ready to take off again. Way on the left-hand side, he's got Donny Vaughan, ignores him. Tries to cut inside past Fenton, doesn't succeed. Good play by Brian Fenton, the Raheny player. Helped out by Kieran Kilkenny. Rarely touched the ball in the first half, Kilkenny. Connolly, second touch for him since coming on, all the way in here towards the other half-time sub. Kevin McManaman. Where he goes, Durkin will follow. McManaman kicking, and his confidence is high, and Dublin have got another one.
Yeah, and you can bring in players like Kevin McManaman in instant impact, and that's incredible. Great play, took on his man, great finish.
Dublin lead by a point. Keith Higgins into Parsons. Well, they knew what to expect in the third quarter of this match. Very often the moving quarter. Didn't always happen like that for Dublin in the last 2 All-Ireland final matches they played against Mayo. Donny Vaughan, very short. Shamie O'Shea. Chris Barrett. One sub that Mayo have still in reserve is Diarmuid O'Connor, even though he's been troubled by hamstring problems. Could come on, could play for 20 minutes and could make a very fine contribution. Aidan O'Shea. And the referee says he took too much out of it. Free to Dublin.
Yeah, and Aidan was ponderous on that occasion. It's very slow with decision making. Dublin had plenty of numbers back, but all of a sudden they're on the counter again. The
pendulum had switched in Dublin's direction, but that kick has been intercepted. O'Connor gives it back to Shamie O'Shea. 2 men outside him, one of them is Brendan Harrison. Into Colin Boyle. Able to cut through here, give it to Jason Doherty. O'Shea again now, quick hand passing back to Lee Keegan. Looking for Kevin McLaughlin. Straight away a wall of yellow-shirted players in front of him. Gives it back once more to the Westport man into space, but there's nobody there for it except Nick Fitzsimons, and Johnny Cooper able to help it forward through Kieran Kilkenny. Once again, Dublin players exchanging passes here, 5-6 passes inside their own 45-metre line to work it forward to O'Callaghan. Ready to take off. Able to get it past Shamie O'Shea. Held on to well here by McManaman, who's already got a point since his introduction. Going to try and crack another one. Will he make the difference between the teams in the end? Not with this finish. First wide of the second half. 4th and all for Dublin. Dublin by a point.
And these counter-attacks are coming from poor play from Mayo, and that's a couple of opportunities that have failed to break down the Dublin team so far. They need more runners from that half-back line coming through.
Fascinating battle on here at Croke Park. Dublin trying to win 3 in a row. First time that a Dublin team will have done that since the 1920s. Mayo, you well know about. Over 3 decades since they had their hands on Sam. They go long, down towards Andy Moran. 2-3 Dublin players around him, given off, Doherty, straight at the goalkeeper. Crucial moment of the game, you might imagine. Jason Doherty, stymied, but he gets the ball back again. Gives it out.
It's a free in for Jason Doherty.
30 metres. But there was a goal there.
What an opportunity, and what play by Andy Moran. He picked up the ball one-on-one with Stephen Cluxton. He would have expected to score it. And a good height for Stephen, that's the only thing, and a great block then by Philly. But they got something out of it, to get a free out, but it was certainly what an opportunity for a goal.
It'll level up the match here, but that could well be one of the most crucial moments in this final. It'll be Cillian O'Connor to take it. Just pointed one, start of the second half. Similar position. They need a similar result, and they get it as well.
Yeah, and that's the one thing about Andy Moran. He stays deep. He stays as an option all the time. Won the ball, laid it off well, but a great save by Stephen Cluxton. He's an incredible keeper.
It was powerfully hit. Goalkeeper just got down brilliantly. They go short. Mayo retreat. Don't squeeze the Dublin backs carrying it out. John Small this time. Unlike in the first half, they are retreating Mayo somewhat, allowing Dublin to carry the ball forward, and Fitzsimon's willing to do so. Andy Moran putting in a challenge. Johnny Cooper went down momentarily. Back on his feet again. The referee has awarded a free kick, which Brian Fenton takes. In here, nicely gathered by Paul Mannion. He's in the clear, Mannion. There's another goal chance. Well stopped by goalkeeper Mayo, David Clark this time. Mannion again, trying to get something out of it. He might yet, he gets the point.
And what an opportunity for Paul Mannion. But 2 brilliant keepers we have here today. Stephen Cluxton and David Clark, but David Clark did extremely well and nicely tidied up by Paul Mannion. But again, one of the best shot stoppers in the business is David Clark.
Comes off his left leg, resourcefully done. So the Dublin goalkeeper, the Mayo goalkeeper, have saved their teams. We're 10 minutes into the second half. It's anybody's match. Dublin shading it at this stage, making the brighter start to the second half, having been a point behind at half-time. Shamie O'Shea trying to go by John Small, trying to force him out. There's always a support player. It's Doherty back into Aidan O'Shea, changing the direction of the play through Parsons and Brendan Harrison. Colin Boyle staying on his feet, getting away from McManaman, giving back into Parsons, avoiding the challenge there of Brian Fenton. Back to Aidan O'Shea. Colin Boyle, that was a hefty challenge. Oh dear. Donny Vaughan then came in with a wild blow.
Yeah, it was reckless from Donald Vaughan, very high. And he'd do well now to...
First of all, John Small's on the ground. John Small's already had a yellow card in this match, but it was Donny Vaughan immediately after that.
Yeah, and you see it. Colin Boyle gets the ball as he turns. John Small comes in extremely hard, very physical, right in on the chest.
Now and that could have been a yellow card.
Yeah,
if it was, he'd have been off the field because he's already got one. Yeah. But then Donny Vaughan comes along.
Yeah, reckless. And an All-Ireland final, Ger, to do something like that. Like Donald McQuillan would have dealt with the John Small incident, and for Donald to come in, it's very careless playing in such a high-stakes match.
Real rush of blood to the head, and he must fear the worst now at this stage as the referee and his 2 linesmen, Conor Lane and Pádraig O'Sullivan, are having a chat about what they have seen.
Yeah, big calls here.
Really big calls.
Yeah, it looks like John Small is going to pick up a yellow.
Well, if that is the case, Dublin will be down to 14. Yeah. Donny Vaughan wondering as well what his fate will be, and the Dublin manager stoically looks on.
Yeah, very careless. Like Donald, the decision was made by the referee, and you know, that's the second yellow
card, so that follows a red, and he's off.
We'll have to deal with Donald now, I'd imagine, and this could be interesting.
Well, he has to deal with it, there's no doubt about that, and he is going to deal with it. And Donny Vaughan now fearing that it'll be another red.
Well, he'd do well to stay on the pitch.
For striking an opponent, he knows it's red. Referee had no choice.
Yeah, and a hot ball as well, Gerard. Just a double whammy.
It's 14 against 14.
Yeah, they're not helping themselves in this instance. Very poor play.
Now, who, if anything, does that benefit? Dublin losing a centre-half back. Mayo losing a very resourceful, mobile number 3, but he's really not playing number 3.
Yeah, well, Donald Vaughan is such a mobile player, an experienced player.
It's picked up by Kieran Kilkenny. Up here as far as Con O'Callaghan. Plenty of space in front of him. Supported here. Fitzsimon's trying to get to the end of it. Ball ran away from him. Mayo pick it up again. Lee Keegan kicks it out to Killian O'Connor, away through Tom Parsons, forward by Aidan O'Shea, and it's anybody's All-Ireland final. Jason Doherty, big, huge one down. They can't keep it inside, however, and instead it's Stephen Cluxton. Andy Moran couldn't reach it. Diarmuid Connolly can. Back up here as far as Kevin McManaman. The Dubs been put to the pin of their collar to win 3 in a row. Mayo, fed up with all the losses. Their 11th final day between actual finals and replays since 1989. McManaman feeding it in here. Kicked forward by Flynn, overkicked, and Mannion couldn't get to it. Saved by David Clark from going out.
Yeah, nothing between the terms. In terms of physicality, in terms of fitness, in terms of athleticism, both players evenly matched and a very evenly contested next couple of minutes.
And Diarmuid O'Connor will be coming on very shortly, maybe to inject fresh life into that Mayo attack. Right now, it's his brother Killian who's trying to set up a scoring opportunity. Brilliantly defended there. It was Cooper who got across to keep it away from Jason Doherty. Some really brilliant, valiant defending on both sides. Diarmuid Connolly. We'll wait for the other Diarmuid to come on. Brian Fenton, leisurely stroke out to the left-hand side. Carried on here by Con O'Callaghan. McManaman out there as well. A lot of work to do to turn the defender. Keith Higgins, he's done well. Higgins gets back at him. Turned all the way back to Connolly once again. Into the path of Cian O'Sullivan. 20 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Out as far as McCarthy.
And this is what Dublin do well. Create space, create options, and wait for the runner to come through at speed.
Mayo, meanwhile, have a couple of central defenders. They're trying to choke things up in the middle, but Dublin trying to break it. And it's Cian O'Sullivan. Off fed beautifully. Beautifully over the bar through Brian Fenton at the end of all of that.
Yeah,
super point.
And as I said, they were so willing to be patient on the ball, wait for the opportunity, wait for the runners, and that's the problem with Mayo. They're going to start to tire in the next couple of minutes.
Well, off will go Seamie O'Shea. On comes Diarmuid O'Connor.
Yeah, and Diarmuid has a lot to offer. 3 goals and 5 points in the championship so far. Good man to get a goal. They'll need one maybe.
Seamie O'Shea normally puts in a good 50 minutes, then he's normally replaced, and today it's Diarmuid O'Connor, who had been programmed to start. I mentioned that he has been suffering from hamstring trouble for quite a while now. DCU student. Keith Higgins inside to Aidan O'Shea. Brendan Harrison now teeing it up here. Durkin holding on for dear life, feeding it outside eventually to the runner Kevin McLaughlin. Dublin leading by 2 points. Mayo with just 2 points to show for the second half so far. I found it much more difficult in the second half. Diarmuid O'Connor getting possession. Referee blows his whistle. Free in for Mayo. Chance to take it back to a 1-point game yet again.
Yeah, great play by Diarmuid O'Connor. Stephen Rochford would have sent him in, make an impact, do something, and he took on Brian Fenton, won the free. Wasn't many other options on. Good play.
He's played an awful lot of football, Desi. You know, last year he was the star of the under-21 success. This Mayo fan hoping all those years of misery will finally end. There's a great book by Keith Doggett called The House of Pain about the suffering that the Mayo fans and their team have had over the years. hoping today will be their big day. Cillian O'Connor kicking it, and the umpire goes for the white flag, and Stephen Rochford can realise that his side is back within a point yet again.
Yeah, and Stephen Cluxton getting away all his kickouts now. I think Mayo have decided that too much energy has been spent trying to cover them kickouts, and it goes on.
Onto it comes Dean Rock, giving it off here for Kevin McMenamin. And again, there's a runner in the middle here. It hasn't been picked up, and it's James McCarthy. It's easy, it should be. Lovely score by James McCarthy, but nobody had picked him up, and nobody was running with him.
Yeah, and Aidan O'Shea, who's had a fine match so far, probably starting to tire a little, but James McCarthy found himself in lots of space, and Dublin are starting to open up opportunities.
Dublin by 2, midway through the second half. David Clark belting it down. Paul Flynn jumping here, but it's won by the other midfielder for Mayo, Tom Parsons. Out via Jason Doherty. Aidan O'Shea once again feeding it forward here for Cillian O'Connor. Teasing ball inside here for Andy Moran. Fitzsimons is near him, gives it in beautifully. Keegan! He scored again! Did it last year! He's done it in the 2017 final. Lee Keegan on 54 minutes steps up to put Mayo in front, 112 to 111. Moran teed it up for him, but Keegan finished it emphatically.
And we hadn't seen Lee Keegan for a long time, but what a goal and what a finish. Great play by Andy Moran, picked up the ball from Cillian O'Connor, and what a finish.
A timely reminder once again that you don't take this Mayo team for granted. Chris Barrett feeds it back to Diarmuid O'Connor, back outside to Aidan O'Shea. Once again it's McLaughlin coming forward to raid. Holding it. Slipping it back outside to the younger of the O'Connor brothers. Aidan O'Shea has time now, deciding to have a go himself, to do what he's never done before and score in an All-Ireland final, but he's missed.
Oh, that was a bit of a reckless decision by Aidan O'Shea.
The big build-up.
Yeah, he probably, the Mayo supporters, they looked close, but at the same time, it was a high percentage wrist shot.
Still 112 to 111. As you can see, we're in the 55th minute of the final. Fitzsimons, challenged by Andy Moran. Referee has blown his whistle. It's got to be a free for Dublin.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a blow, the concession of that goal. Things had been doing pretty nicely in the second half for Dublin. They were 1-5, remember, to 9 points down at half-time. They scored 6 points in the second half, so another substitution coming in, and this time it's going to be Stephen Cohen.
Colin Boyle again put in a good shift. He's been quiet the last couple of minutes. Stephen Cole coming in. When I think I see Michael Darren McCauley warming up as well, and he's such a direct runner. You know that he's going to run at the heart of this Mayo defence.
And of course they have Bernard Brogan.
I'll take him as well for a couple of points.
Any team, anywhere would take Bernard Brogan. Kieran Kilkenny. On to Johnny Cooper yet again. Fenton holding off the challenge of Doherty. Will come back once again. Get goal side. James McCarthy kicked that marvellous point some time ago, just before the Lee Keegan goal. Kilkenny darting forward. Doherty's trying to keep up with him. Gives it in towards McManaman. Gets his hands on the ball and releases it back out to Dean Rock quickly. Connolly thought about the shot from some distance. McLaughlin goes after him. Parsons goes after him. Keegan goes after him. Referee says play away. I'm giving you an advantage.
That's incredible.
Connolly gets a mighty score.
Inspirational score. Everybody was hitting on the Mayo team. They couldn't stop him. Referee actually gave him an advantage. He looked at the referee and he says, I'll kick it over anyway, Joe.
Just shows us what a great footballer this man is. Back come Mayo. Diarmuid O'Connor turning around into the clear, trying to get away from his marker. Slipping it to Chris Barrett. Taking over Jason Doherty. McLaughlin, normally good for a score or two. How about that? And what a time to get it. Second of the match.
Yeah, brilliant play. One of my favourite players, Kevin McLaughlin. Very unselfish, very hard working, and a brilliant player. And a great finish there, Jar.
And very unheralded as well, Desi.
Yeah, he hasn't actually won an All-Star, which I was surprised to read this week.
Cian O'Sullivan. 13 minutes from the finish, plus the usual stoppage time. And really, it's impossible to separate these teams. Kieran Kilkenny just about manages to get it across here to the very determined and flying Johnny Cooper. Remember, it's 14 against 14. We've had 2 players sent off in this second half, 1 per team. Cooper again, bit more space. Great defending. O'Callaghan picks it up, however. Challenge by Harrison. Back out it comes once more. Rock trying to get in, and that's over the bar, is it? Referee has blown his whistle.
Yeah, he gave the advantage, and I think Dean has knocked it over the bar, so the score is going to stand. But again, Con O'Callaghan, very effective, very strong. Dean on the line, they were looking for steps, the players, but yeah, good finish, took his score well.
It's 5 points for Dean Rock, 2 of them in the second half from open play, and good work by the referee to allow that.
Yeah, and I think Con O'Callaghan's just gone down with maybe a bit of cramp.
So level yet again, and they're level in this final for the 9th time. It's a remarkable final in so many respects. Everybody said, yeah, we think Mayo will put it up to Dublin, but I'm not sure everybody was convinced of that because Mayo have lost so many times. But they're giving it everything, and Dublin will not lie down. And Kevin McLaughlin comes yet again, chips it over. Moran makes the run to the right, trying to wrong foot Fitzsimons. Past Flynn, going back outside the D, onto his right. Poorly.
He's tired, and he had options. Andy Moran, a man of his experience, should have looked around him. Stephen Cohen, Kevin McLaughlin, they were all around him, and he took the opportunity himself, and poor play.
Cian O'Sullivan from the kick out. Brian Fenton lobbing it in here for Kilkenny to get there before Keegan. Interesting, it's not Keegan picking up Connolly. Free taken by Kieran Kilkenny all the way down towards Con O'Callaghan, trying to turn his man, who is Chris Barrett.
Brilliant play.
Barrett does well.
Yeah, brilliant play. Con O'Callaghan using his strength to try and manoeuvre an opportunity, but Chris Barrett again outstanding today.
Stephen Cohen on here, carrying it, turning it to Aidan O'Shea. Tom Parsons once again. McLaughlin belting it in here to a 2-man inside forward line. It's caught here by Cillian O'Connor, and he hits it high, very high, but very accurate as well. He's got 5.
Yeah, and always the ball, the excellent ball in. That's what caught Philly McMahon out of position. And who had to expect? Cillian O'Connor, an easy score for him, and I think he's actually going to book Philly now for that as well.
Mayo lead by 1. 10 minutes to go in the 2017 All-Ireland football final.
Yeah, and I think the introduction of players like Stephen Cohen and Jeremy O'Connor have made an impact for Mayo, and that's what they needed. Subs that can make an impression.
Billy McMahon yellow carded. Johnny Cooper. Well, the build-up was all about the number of subs that Dublin have got and the quality of their bench and how that was going to make an impact late on into the game. But as you say, Desi, David O'Connor, Stephen Cohen have certainly made their presence felt. Brian Fenton now slipping it in here cleverly. O'Callaghan laying it off to Dean Rock, trying to turn pass.
Again, Chris Barrett.
Again, it's Chris Barrett.
Yeah.
When we talk about unheralded players, you know, not all that terribly long ago, he couldn't have been sure of his place in the starting 15.
Yeah, a player he was taken off against Cork during the year, but he's been immense. Again, a player with no All-Star. He'll be in the running again this year.
Dermot O'Connor doesn't worry about All-Stars. He's been a young footballer of the year twice in the past. He wants an All-Ireland. He gives it to Keegan, who scored once already, struggling to get in here. Referee
He's given a free.
Eventually does give a free. He had his hands raised. I thought he might have been allowing an advantage to him.
And very
so
close.
Another chance.
Very close to a penalty as well, Jar.
Not too terribly far away. That's certain.
Yeah.
Have a look again here.
Here's the foul, but you can see it. There he is. He's pulled down.
That is inside, isn't it?
It's definitely inside. The initial contact may be made outside, but Mayo supporters would have preferred a penalty on that occasion.
Well, they've travelled here yet again in their absolute thousands. Conor Loftus is going to come in very shortly.
Yeah, and we know what he can do as a sub against Kerry. Made a brilliant ball into Andy Moran for the goal against Derry. Scored a goal himself and saved Mayo's season. So certainly you would say Mayo, if they knock this over, 2-point lead, 7 or 8 minutes to go, it's a very strong position, Ger.
Don't forget, Desi, the amount of time that's normally added on at the end of matches nowadays. Last year, it was 7 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know the Mayo supporters be out for that kind of injury time.
114 to 113 can now very quickly become a 2-point advantage. Cillian O'Connor has got 5 so far. 2 of those have been from open play. He's now got 4 from frees.
Yeah.
115 to 113. On comes Loftus from Crossmolina, and going off the team will be number 15, Andy Moran.
Yeah, what a shift he's put in. Incredible. A standing ovation for Andy Moran, and that just gives you the measure how highly he's seen in Mayo.
3 points in the first half. Always the leader, always involved. Wonderful character, brilliant footballer.
Yeah, and that ball he gave Lee Keegan was exceptional. Set him up for the goal, and he shows his all of experience there.
Now Dublin, what have you got left?
Yeah, I'm just looking at Jim Gavin. He's talking to Jason Sherlock, and I'm sure, like Bernard Brogan, certainly would make an impact now. You'd have to imagine.
Cian O'Sullivan. They've used 3 of their possible subs. Kieran Kilkenny. Johnny Cooper now. James McCarthy. It's only a 2-point game. Dublin won't panic. Looking today for their 27th All-Ireland victory. Mayo looking for just their 4th. Inside to Paul Mannion. Again, the backs having the responsibility now, trying to keep him at bay. Mannion, elusive, quick, darting forward and squeezing it in from an almost impossible angle. That's Dublin for you, never beaten. Back to a 1-point game.
Absolutely, when you have a player like Paul Mannion, so elusive, taking on his man, and they always get the score. A lot of Mayo players are actually looking for a video referee on this occasion. Cillian O'Connor was screaming at Joe McQuillan. Yeah, and this could be very interesting, Ger, because it's unusual for a referee to go back like this.
Well, also the video official will have had a view of it already and might have had a doubt himself. So this is important. Is it a 1-point game or a 2-point game? It's it's good. Posha Cadaha, it's allowed.
Yeah, and that's the one thing about Dublin. They do not panic. They keep on coming back. Great composure again.
Bernard Brogan is in.
Yeah, and that's no surprise. You're nearly guaranteed a score or 2 when this man comes onto the pitch.
The player who went off, by the way, is Paul Flynn. Possession vital here. It's won by Dublin. It's back in once again to Mannion. He's got 3 so far. Into Bernard Brogan. Fed back as far as James McCarthy. Is it inside the right-hand upright? It is. And the teams are level again.
Yeah, and you can see, as we said, there's great composure there, but what play by Bernard Brogan. Simply got the ball, knew the option wasn't on, laid a great pass to James McCarthy.
It really is a brilliant match. Aidan O'Shea, physical, tough, but that's what you expect. Cohen gives it back to Lee Keegan. Goal scorer after 54 minutes. Chris Barrett having to reel backwards here and just begin the next attack for Mayo. 4 minutes of the 70 to go, and then it'll be interesting just how many more minutes will be tagged onto that. Tom Parsons, Aidan O'Shea, 2 men unmarked ahead of him. Stephen Cohen, one of them, last year's under-21 captain. Beautifully in here to Loftus. Conor Loftus regained his control there. Little throw the shoulders past Kieran Kilkenny. Down he goes, referee very near him. No foul committed, the referee decides. Into the breach here comes Durkin, trying to lay it off once again towards Loftus. Everybody intent on winning it, and finally Dublin do get it back, and it's kicked out by Brian Fenton to the completely unmarked Dermot Connolly. Unmarked for a moment that was. Slipping it over towards Dean Rock. The Mayo back missed him, and Rock fists it over the bar. It's a 6 for Dean Rock. You can watch again here. The back came out, missed it completely. Rock had the composure then to slip it over the bar with his fist to put Dublin back into the lead again.
Yeah, Conor Loftus had opportunities to lay it off, got caught in possession, but so quickly up the pitch to Diarmuid Connolly. Chris Barrett narrowly missed it and it found its way to Dean. There was a great opportunity for a goal if he wanted to be a hero, took the point.
In recent years, Dublin have won All-Ireland finals against Mayo by a point. Mayo come once more. Cohen inside to Cillian O'Connor. Remember the equaliser last year?
That is incredible, Jar. That is incredible score at this time of the game. Cillian O'Connor.
7 points for O'Connor. So reminiscent, but up at the other end of the field last year to tie it up. He's done it again here. They're level for the 11th time. What about that? 116 to 116.
Yeah, no team deserves to lose this. Tit for tat throughout the game. Incredible composure from both sets of players.
Now Scully is on, gets his chance, deserves it. Didn't start the match, and the player is going off as the goal scorer, Con O'Callaghan. Kieran Kilkenny. Johnny Cooper. So is it to be a late winner, or will there be another day out for both these teams? McMenamin trying to make sure the business is done here and now. Back out here. Brogan running into challenges, lots of challenges. Higgins spills away, finally flat kicked away out of danger by Paddy Durkin, brilliantly taken by Kevin McLaughlin.
Yeah, and what play by Keith Higgins to bottle up Bernard Brogan. For a split second he had an opportunity, but both sets of players put their body on the lines, you would have to say.
We're seeing some magnificent performance, absolute heroism all over the park. A final is a credit to both squads of players and their management teams, aided and abetted by the wonderful supporters we have at Croke Park this afternoon. An absolutely engrossing contest.
It really is truly incredible how both sets of players at this level, at this stage of the game, can make such decisions.
The decision has gone Mayo's way. The line ball, the possession. Cooper incensed.
Yeah, to me it looked like it was a Dublin ball, so maybe that's a break Mayo needed.
We're inside the last few seconds of the 70 as we see the
David Drake is in.
Come on, David Drake.
Yeah, powerful runner coming in for Jason Doherty. Very fit man.
So possession from the sideline here for Diarmuid O'Connor. Jason Doherty, the one making his way off. He scored 2 points in the first half and contributed handsomely. But now it's all about who's going to win.
Yeah, it's a free in.
A run here, and it's a
free in, Charles.
by Mick Fitzsimons.
Yeah, off the ball. Mick Fitzsimons got too close to Cillian O'Connor. I just seen it on the corner of my eye. Joe said it there.
Huge call by Joe McQuillan to spot that. Pleading his case, Mick Fitzsimons. Just watch it again here. Arm held.
Yeah, just very slightly. But if we can remember, Cillian O'Connor very late in the game last year missed a similar free from a similar position, and this was a big kick.
6 minutes of added time, I've just been told. The crowd is now being told. Cillian O'Connor at the beginning of those 6 minutes with the match level at 116 to 116.
Yeah, and Michael Fitzsimons very close to him there. Joe McQuillan is well inside, not looking at it.
As good a final as you could hope to wish to see. O'Connor making a better angle for himself. It's on the way, I think. Is it off the post? And comes back down to Brian Fenton, and Dublin can move smartly through the gears with Niall Scully. His first interventions is coming in. James McCarthy now. Dublin trying to bring the ball upfield and get the next score. Back once again here with Diarmuid Connolly. Turning away from Cillian O'Connor after that free came off the post, and Dublin have the chance to benefit at the other end. It's Connolly. Mayo get the players back into key positions. Crucial 4.5 minutes remaining here. Back out towards Mannion, who's got 3 points already. Off as far as Scully. Only 1 point in this year's championship. He scored it against Carlow. Cian O'Sullivan went down. Referee wasn't too far away from it, didn't see a foul committed. Fenton keeps it moving. Dublin patient.
Yeah, they're looking for options.
The best option possible. What is it? Will it be this man, Cian O'Sullivan? Will it be that man, Bernard Brogan? With a little block on it by Keith Higgins.
Yeah,
and
he's
Keith Higgins is on the ground.
He can't walk.
Somehow, cramped up, but he somehow managed to catch it and give the pass off to Cillian O'Connor and keep it going. Both sets of players, I think, are pretty much out on their feet.
Yeah, and the supporters willing on their players.
There's another 4 minutes of it. Aidan O'Shea to Parsons. Will there be a winner today? And which one of them will it be? Chris Barrett. On it goes to Keegan. Cohen now. Worked inside. Barry was trying to get it. Stopped by McManaman. McManaman back there in the half-back line doing the defending.
Yeah, here
Ryan
comes
Fenton.
Connolly.
Connolly, yeah. Getting away from Drake. Diarmuid Connolly. It'll take just one composed moment, you would think, for one of these teams to land the point that will win the final.
Yeah, and a lot of players. I'm looking at Ciarán Kilkenny struggling from cramp. Paul Mannion struggling from cramp.
Well,
Keith Higgins went down as well.
Here's James McCarthy. He looks fresh. He's got a gap. He's 25 metres out, a little bit more. Back out to Connolly. Will Connolly be the man, be the hero? Not with this kick. It sailed well away.
Yeah, and they're trying to regroup again. Yeah.
Cormac Costello comes on, the man who broke Mayo hearts last year with 3 points when he came on as a substitute, has another, what is it, about 2.5 minutes to do the business with Mannion going off.
Yeah, and he has fond memories of what happened last year. I'm sure he'd look to get on every ball if he can. You know he's going to get an opportunity to score.
Such options that Jim Galvin has got. Right now, David Clarke, I think, is just slowing it down. You can see it. He's in no particular hurry. So important, and there is going to be another change. And Ger Cafferty is going to get a chance to come in. I think some of the players just cramping up and just unable to continue. Saw Keith Higgins there a moment ago. Yellow card was issued to number 12.
Yeah, big kick out as well for David Clarke. It's a full court press by Dublin.
Now Scully not long on and carded. It's kicked long. Dublin come to take, and James McCarthy brilliantly catches it. Are Dublin ready to take any chance that comes their way and seize the moment? They've got this chance. Connolly fouled. Chris Barrett not deemed to have made the correct tackle, and it's a free kick from 40 metres out to perhaps win the All-Ireland.
Yeah, to try to create an opportunity for Aidan O'Shea to go out on top of James McCarthy, and it ended up James McCarthy won that kick out and creates a counter-attack. And then we have the players that like the Jeremy Connolly were running straight at the heart of defence. It's very hard to tackle that man.
Of course, McLaughlin, on comes Danny Kerr, but really the most important thing right now, as you can see, we're under a minute of time to go as Ger Cafferty comes in. But really it's all now about Dean Rock, who scored 6 points in the match so far. Keith Higgins going off to be replaced. A free kick to win the All-Ireland.
Yeah,
Jim Gavin showing very few emotions, but I'm sure all kinds of emotions are running through Dean Rock's head. Playing in his 31st championship match, 27 years of age. His dad Barney did it many times in the past. This has to be the kick that goes over the bar if Dublin are to win the All-Ireland. It'll be heartbreak for Mayo. 116 to 116. 6 minutes into stoppage time. 40 metres out. Rock kicking up into the air and over the bar. And Dublin have surely won the All-Ireland.
yeah, what a player to have to kick the free. He's done it time and time before. Like his father, great composure and a great score.
Well, the referee is halting play and having some words because all kinds of bodies colliding, as you can see there. That's Cormac Costello being spoken to, and he's got a yellow card. He's only on a few seconds. Dublin bidding to hang on now. It'll be a kick out from Mayo, who look to be crestfallen once again. There's still a bit of jersey pulling and tugging going on But we're way over the 6 minutes, as you can see.
It's a black card for Kieran Kilkenny.
A black card for Kilkenny.
Yeah, and under no circumstances was he letting Lee Keegan get away from that kick out and drag them to the ground off the ball.
How much more time will the referee add on?
Yeah,
He's added a minute. They always say it's at least whatever the number of minutes given.
I think he should give Mayo an opportunity because there's a lot of time wasted there.
Will he do so? Joe McQuillan, the man in charge. Oh, David Clark has kicked it out to the sideline and out over the sideline, and it's a Dublin sideline ball. And most of the noise now is coming from the Dublin fans in Croke Park.
Yeah, and it's just at the wrong time. He hit a bad kick out. He'd be very disappointed with himself.
Are they calling up? I thought for a minute they were going to call up Cluxton to kick this, but no, Bernard Brogan just going to kick it in. Don't need to do such things. Dublin hold on. Challenge there on Brogan, very near the sideline. Mayo can't win the possession, so they give it all the way back here. Cormac Costello playing his part, Johnny Cooper as well. Dublin advancing, Dublin leading, Dublin holding possession, frustrating Mayo, who've played their part in a really good final. The referee looks at his watch in the middle of the park. Dublin belted all the way back to goalkeeper Stephen Cluxton, and they hope that the whistle will sound in just a moment. Referee has another look at the watch. There's still a few seconds. Dublin just moving it around among themselves. Mayo can't win it back, however. Dublin have the advantage. They've got the ball. Time's running out. Cooper. They try to pin Cian O'Sullivan back there in the corner. Out comes Cluxton. Gives it off here to McManaman. Boots it out to Scully. Everybody was down inside the 45-metre line, and the referee finally does blow the whistle. It's all over. And Dublin are again the champions. The 3 in a row. The first time a team from Dublin has done it. Jim Gavin, you wouldn't think he had won a match. He said beforehand, it's just another game. But look what it means to the fans and to the players. Paddy Andrews in there to celebrate, but once again, defeat is Mayo's lot. Stephen Rochford and his team gave it absolutely everything. Luck just wasn't on their side at the